Hello everybody, welcome to aspirations. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already and drop a like on this video. I'm trying to hit 100k subscribers on this channel, so I would appreciate your subscription. Also drop a like on this video, it only takes 1 second, it makes a massive difference in how the video performs in the YouTube algorithm. So for today's video, we are talking about Mikal Bridges because my God, has he been good for the Brooklyn Nets ever since being traded there. He has been averaging, that's what I was looking at on my phone, 26 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, and he is doing so on 50, and 91 splits. I'm not expecting him to continue to shoot quite as scorching as he has, but it is definitely a very encouraging sign that A, the scoring volume is there, and B, it's coming efficiently. Not only efficiently, but more efficiently than you would typically expect, which kind of gives you the telltale sign that Mikal Bridges might actually be capable of handling more offensively, as we kind of suspected he might be with Phoenix, but was never really granted the opportunity to. Something that I had talked about with the Suns for this year specifically was that I wanted to see more shots for both Bridges and DeAndre Ayton, and DeAndre Ayton started to get a little bit more, at least not necessarily more shots, but at least more creating for himself opportunities. It might still manifest as a few more shots, and I don't remember exactly. And with Chris Paul's age, I was like, you need more shot creation, you need your young guys to step up, you need to rely on Cam Johnson more. Of course, they did do that for a limited amount of time, but it turns out Bridges was able to be a lot more of a shot creator than I thought. I knew that he had the mid-range ability, like he'd always flash that, like anytime there was a loose ball or whatever, and he just, or maybe attacking a closeout and there's limited time on the clock. He's had it looked good, it went in at a respectable clip, it looked like something that he could potentially build upon a little bit, because before, Bridges has been a good finisher, and he's had a good three-point percentage, but not the super highest volume. In fact, if I was going to criticize anything about how Bridges has played with the Nets thus far, it's that I do think he's able to shoot like 7 threes a game, 8 threes a game even, and he's at 5 right now with Brooklyn, but we knew that he could shoot. We knew that he could finish. His handle is functioning, like it works enough to get him to the spots that he needs to get to, and the mid-range pull-up was okay. Turns out the mid-range pull-up is more than okay, because I don't know what his exact shooting numbers are. In fact, I'll pull them up in a second, but he doesn't seem like he can miss from mid-range since I have been watching him. I've watched a couple of his games there because he's been really fun to watch. So if we go ahead and look at his shooting numbers, he is shooting 24% of his shots from 10 to 16 feet and about 8% of his shots from long two, which is 16 to just inside the 3-point line. So 24 plus 8, that makes it 32% of his shots are coming from mid-range, and from there he is shooting 56% and 42% on those long twos. But in the primary area where a quarter of all of his shots are coming from that nice short mid-range area, he is shooting 55%, which is pretty freaking phenomenal. His percentages from mid-range throughout his entire career, that 10 to 16 feet, I didn't realize they were as nice as they were, so maybe we shouldn't be as taken back by surprise as at least I have been, because the numbers were there to suggest this is something that he could do, but it became abundantly clear pretty much immediately watching this that Bridges can do that shit. And I don't mean to get too facetious or hyperbolic here, but I would almost all but guarantee that Mikal Bridges is like a future all-star. I would pretty much all but guarantee that Bridges is a star player for the Nets and that he could average at least 20 plus for them next season. And, you know, obviously the 55% from the field, which is like 10% better than his career average, the 50% from three, that's probably not going to maintain itself, but the mid-range shooting is there. The shot creation is very clearly there. He's even displayed some post-game. The drive is more capable, especially if he develops his handle even further to where it's more than just simply a functional handle, but one that actually actively creates opportunities for him. Like, there's a difference between like a Michael Jordan ability to dribble the ball where he's not going to lose it and he can get to his spots versus like an Allen Iverson or Kyrie Irving ability to dribble where not only are you not going to lose the ball, and it's going to help you get to your spots, but also you can create space with the dribble. Not that Michael Jordan couldn't create space with the dribble, but you get what I mean. A functional handle rather than a one that's specifically a weapon, you know? If he could get that to being any kind of level of being something that would represent a weapon in his offensive repertoire, then honestly, the sky might be the limit. I am curious. I was thinking this as I've been talking here. I am not sure what his volume from the free throw line is. He's getting 6 free throw attempts per game, which is 3 times his career average. If he wants to consistently average 26, I do think he might have to get that a little bit higher, because I just don't know that the jump shots are going to be there to the extent that they have been, or that they're going to be as reliable to the extent that they have been, especially not on the efficiency that they have been. But you take that foundation, you add some more handle to it, get to the line a little bit more, maybe put some muscle on him, and at that point, what's the ceiling for Mikal Bridges? Could he even be an all-NBA level player? Because let's say he's capable of averaging a relatively efficient like 24 a game. Maybe his playmaking steps up a little bit. He's up to like 4 assists, 7 rebounds or so. And he's got the really good efficiency splits, and he's also an all-defense level guy. Not only an all-defense level guy, but I believe last year he was second runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year. And me personally, I would have given the Defensive Player of the Year to Bridges over Marcus Smart. That's just me, though. I don't even believe Marcus Smart's the best defender on his team. But anyways, that level of defense from a forward, and mind you, this is a forward we're talking about, and that's a key detail here, because I have a strong belief that easily the most ideal position to have a star level player at is at that forward spot. To have a guy who can dribble the ball, create his own shot, lead an offense to some degree, and be that large forward, a bigger player. I think he's like 6'7", and he has those alien, freakishly long arms. That archetype is like perfect. And there's people who have, ironically given who he was traded for, compared him to Kevin Durant. There are some visual similarities. I would honestly lean a little bit more towards Kawhi Leonard, because they kind of have that similar, like really mechanical looking mid-range pull-up that is just butter every time. But I do think that, yeah, the tools are there for Bridges to be not only a star player, but a perennial all-star. And turns out he probably had that in him the whole time. It really just took this opportunity. And as glad as I am that Kevin Durant's in Phoenix, because it's just more interesting than this perpetual disaster in Brooklyn, I'm more glad that Bridges is getting this opportunity and that we get to see just yet another awesome player in the NBA. They just keep coming. There's just an endless list. The talent in this league is ridiculous, and that's why we need the league to expand. But that's a whole other conversation. I won't dwell on that. But yeah, Mikal Bridges is awesome. That's really huge for Brooklyn. Obviously, their rebuild going forward is a little bit wishy-washy, but given that they're starting off on this strong of a foot, if they can just be a pretty competent organization from there, get a couple of diamonds in the rough, draft well, they got a good foundation. I would feel better about being a Brooklyn Nets fan than I do about the Chicago Bulls right now, than I do about the Washington Wizards right now, not to call out the Wizards specifically. I'm calling out the Bulls because I am a Bulls fan. But yeah, Bridges is awesome, and if you have not watched, I would recommend you tune into a Nets game, because him going off and just that roster in general, it's really fun, and it's really worth a watch. Even if they're not the most competitive team in the world, it's good hoops. Anyways, shout out to Rudy for editing this video, and goodbye.